In the shadows of Mystic Mountain in beautiful Bright, the coveted green and gold bands are up for grabs. The Alpine Shire, an adventure playground for grown-ups with some of the best mountain biking trails in the world. It's playing host to the National Championships. Brosnan, Hill and the Hannahs, they're among the world's best. They'll be putting it all on the line in the downhill. Trials World Champion Janine Youngfels will be doing her thing. Bike handling skills, she's got plenty. At the Subaru Australian Mountain Bike Championships, the stakes are high. But for the cross-country riders in an Olympic year, they're even higher. A win in Bright could lead to a trip to Brazil and a spot on the Australian team at the Games in Rio. For the nation's demons of the dirt, glory is theirs to be had. Hello and welcome to Bright for the Subaru Australian Mountain Bike Championships. And when you're racing bikes on dirt, there are lots of risks that are taken, but there's plenty at stake because there's green and gold jerseys up for grabs. We've got the cross-country, short-track cross-country, downhill, and the observed trials where Australia now has a world champion. To take a look at it and the situation with mountain biking in Australia, which is on the rise, I'm joined by the President of Mountain Bike Australia, Russ Baker. Russ, it is a big year, particularly for those in the cross-country because it's an Olympic year. And although this doesn't define who goes to Rio, it sets the tone.
It's the start. It's the start of a big season for Australia in mountain biking. We've got, a couple of fantastic riders that we hope are going to head to Rio. But it's not just about cross-country. Australia is fantastic in a lot of disciplines. It's held the best country in the world in downhill for a lot of years, and of course last year Janine winning the World Championships in observed trials, and it's a great experience for all the young riders moving up through the ranks to be able to see those level of riders here on their home territory, to measure themselves against them and to see where they want to be in a few years' time.
It is a big year ahead for mountain biking in Australia. The World Cup in April. Next year, Cairns will be hosting the World Championships. But this year, a lot of the attention, rightly so, is on the Olympic Games. Beck Henderson and Dan McConnell, they're the Australian favourites to go to Rio.
And Beck Henderson has the finish straight all to herself.
Obviously, if all goes to plan and everything goes well, I'll be there in Rio, and I'm training as if I'm racing in Rio, and we'll just see what happens.
And McConnell, the national champion for 2015.
Well, it's a massive year, so I'm really looking forward to it. There's a lot of big races coming up, so hopefully the form's right where it needs to be, and hopefully we can get some really good races throughout the year.
And the National Championships in Bright are the perfect place for Dan McConnell to find out if the form is where it needs to be. The women are ready to make a start. Beck Henderson is the favourite for the cross-country criterium. 11 laps for the women. They're underway. Henderson is off to a quick start. I'm joined by Chris Southwood and Mick Ross in commentary. And Chris, this is bringing the race to the people.
100%, yeah. The XCC, or short track cross country, is a really exciting format. We don't necessarily see a lot of it at club level racing, but when you have the best in Australia come together to race the short track, it's always exciting.
It's the equivalent to a criterium on the dirt. Beck Henderson has got off to a flyer. She's got a few challenges still trying to stick with her. Mick, can anybody beat Beck Henderson?
Well, it's a tough one to answer. She's got a lot of form. She's gearing up for a big international season and definitely spends a lot of time racing her bike.
Strong contingent of the riders from the Talk team, and they're staying on terms with Beck Henderson early.
Yeah, it's hard though to work any kind of team tactics into this short kind of format. Beck Henderson is obviously going to try and lead from the front the whole time and absolutely neutralise any efforts that the team Talk riders might have to team up and slow her down. It's not a particularly technical course, and at this point it really is a race about who's got the biggest engine. M Parks is trying to stick with Beck Henderson, but Henderson has clearly got the throttle fully open. Yeah, it's pretty incredible to see one of the world's best female cross-country racers on form like this, and she's having no trouble, it would seem, holding M Parks and Holly Harris at bay at this stage. Early in the race, Beck Henderson has started to open up her lead, and she accelerates as she goes through the finishing straight. 4 laps down, and the battle is on now to try and stick with her.
It's a tough pill to swallow with those Talk girls watching Beck Henderson pull away from her there. Yeah, she's already opened up an incredible gap. We're less than halfway through the race, and she is just tearing the legs off them. And you see Beck Henderson before taking the A-lines. She's never going to think about taking the B-lines. Doesn't matter how comfortable her lead is. She is a class rider.
Well, she's got breathing space in first position, but Emily Parks in second place doesn't, because Holly Harris is starting to challenge for the silver medal.
But geez, it's good seeing Emily Parks racing a short course format like this. She's also the National Enduro Mountain Bike Champion. Chalk and cheese from today.
Beck Henderson, she can see the finish line. She got them off to a flyer. She has led from start to finish, and she will go out as the Australian champion in the cross-country criterium. A dominant performance.
Yeah, really no surprises to see Beck Henderson take that out. But let's see if M Parks has done enough to hold off her teammate Holly Harris for second, and it looks like she has. M Parks are silver medalists.
And it's a mini mono for the silver medal as opposed to the full noise mono if you get the win. The bronze medal, that goes to Holly Harris, but a delighted winner, Beck Henderson. Here she is.
Short track's pretty special to me. When I was younger, I loved racing short track against all the elite women, and that really helped my progress in the sport. To be fast as opposed to, just an endurance rider. So, it's pretty special for me, and I've won the short track before, and so it feels good to win again.
She collects yet another gold medal. She adds that to her collection. Emily Parks in second position. It was Holly Harris in third place. The future of Australian mountain biking with some of the young rising stars looks bright. It was Kat Hoskins in fourth place. For the elite men, it's 18 laps. Once again, Dan McConnell is the red-hot favourite. Paul van der Ploeg, a former world champion in the blue. He's almost on his home track. He could be a chance. They're off to a flyer. And
it's a huge field for the men's race. And Tristan Ward it is putting in the hard yards to get himself into the front early on.
Oh, Tristan Ward, pretty wild guy on a bike. Let's see what he can do. See if he can hold on to that lead.
It's going to be very interesting to see if he can hold off Dan McConnell, who slots himself into second place as they get into the first bit of single track.
And it shows the importance with the size of this field to be in a good position on the grid and to get off to a good start, because anybody from the midway point of the race is going to have great difficulty seeing the front as Ward continues to lead.
100%. If you are mid-pack in this race, you have Buckley's chance of getting to the front. And Tristan Ward, looking down at his stem, it looks like he's popped like a can of beans in the fire, and Dan McConnell sees his opportunity. Straight over the logs, into first place as they head to the single track. Taz Nankervis on his wheel.
Good move by Nankervis. He's gone straight over the top of his teammate Ward, and he is sticking with McConnell, but how long can he stay there?
He's looking pretty calm, to be honest. He's a tall, big climber, but I'm not sure if he's suited for this punchy format.
One of the younger riders in the race, he's actually eligible for the under-23 category in the Olympic cross-country, so the youth should be on his side, but McConnell, he has got the motor, and early in the race, he's starting to open up the gap.
100%. Look at him there, sitting on the nose of the saddle, getting into his time trial position, and absolutely staying on top of that gear. Cameron Ivory has moved right up through the placings, though.
The log's put on the course for a man-made obstacle. There's the option on the right-hand side to do a double jump, or the other side, you can jump it in one hit. What's the better choice?
Well, when you're sprinting that hard and you see the red mist in your eyes, you're on the rivet, there is no real easy choice. You just got to give it a shot.
Brendan Johnston in the red colours. He's charged his way up through the field. He's worked himself into second position. McConnell has got this race just about wrapped up in the final stages, but Johnston has done well.
He sure has, and look, we can see the lead that McConnell has here as he comes through the straight. It's a really big gap for a short course format like this.
Johnston in second position. Cameron Ivory has clawed his way up into third. It's such a comfortable lead now for Dan McConnell. Does he enjoy this final lap?
Oh gosh, no, he's got to stay on the gas. Anything can happen, and there's not even much space to turn around and look back. Who knows what could be behind him?
And Johnston, he's continuing to challenge. It's a 28-second gap, but he is chasing desperately to get back on terms with his close mate. As Ivory in third position, he does have a challenge on his hands.
He sure does. Cameron Ivory is riding incredibly well. He was a long way back early on, and he has moved right up the field, third position. And here we see Dan McConnell coming through. He's done it once again. This is a very familiar story.
And a mark of the significance of the domination, he has lapped the former world champion Paul van der Ploeg, who's been taken off the course. Brendan Johnston, he's got a lot to celebrate. He turns the data off. He'll analyse that later. He's got a silver medal to celebrate. And Cameron Ivory, with a late charge for the line, has managed to pick up the bronze medal.
Amazing. Cameron Ivory having a great 2015-2016 series.
And with yet another Australian title to his name, here's the winner, Dan McConnell.
You know, I've been able to freshen up the last couple of weeks into this, and, you know, finally the legs are starting to sort of click a little bit better, and, you know, everything's sort of looking good for the rest of the year.
He wasn't waiting for anybody today, not even a close mate, so yeah, it was a good day out, but yeah, it would have been nice to get across to him and have a bit of a tow around, but yeah, I was sort of on my own once I cleared a bit of traffic, and yeah, it was a tough day out.
He's not on his own anymore as he joins Dan McConnell on the podium. Dan McConnell going out the winner ahead of Brendan Johnston in third place with the bronze medal. That belongs to Cameron Ivory. The local, Sebastian Jane, gets fourth place and Reece Tucknott is in fifth. From the sprint format of the race, it's across to test their endurance as we turn our attention to the Olympic cross country. That coming up next from the Subaru Australian Mountain Bike Championships. Welcome back to Brighton, the beautiful Alpine Shire, for the Subaru Australian Mountain Bike Championships. It's now time to turn our attention to the Olympic event, the Olympic cross country, and we're starting with the women's, where Beck Henderson, she's aiming for title number 3. Peter Mullins, she's won it before, she's been the Australian road champion, and she's going to aim to knock Henderson off that top step because Rio is partly at stake. I'm joined by the coach of one of those contenders, Peter Mullins. He also coaches a lot of the other stars of Australian cycling, Mark Fenner. So Mark, without trying to be too biased, it's going to be difficult to separate Beck and Peter when it just comes to engine, but what's going to separate them on a course like this?
Yeah, look, I mean, mountain biking now is getting more and more specific, and the demands of each course are getting more specific. So you have to look at really specific things that separate them. Peter is a great engine, but she can hold a pace really, really well. Beck has that real ability to just keep punching it and recovering and punch it again.
How much of it is skill-based? Because there's some tricky descents, there's actually some tricky climbs as well. So being able to conserve energy and not waste calories throughout the course is going to be crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, if you when you actually watch them race, the amount of time they're off the gas and just using flow and momentum to carry pace is vitally important. And the best riders do that very, very well. And it's like they're just floating across the surface.
So it's a battle between who's got the best combination between engine and skills. Beck Henderson, Peter Mullins, but don't discount the prospects of Jenny King. It's a tough course. Let's take a look at the map. This is the third year that Brighton has hosted the National Mountain Bike Championships, yet they've still managed to find some variety in the course in the shadows of Mystic Mountain. The circuit is just short of 7 kilometres and there's a fair bit of climbing, more than 160 metres of altitude gained on each lap. There's a few technical sections, tombstone, down the roller coaster and a fast run through to the finish.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Obviously, there's a bit of nerves when you go to defend your second national title. Well, it would be my third if I win today. So I'm pretty excited, and you know, I rode the course yesterday and it was slippery, but you know, I had fun out there. And today it's only going to be drier, and it's the same for everyone. So pretty excited to get out there.
I think I'm a bit unsure. I haven't been on the mountain bike a hell of a lot. I haven't done too much intensity either, but. You know, I think I always feel comfortable when I come to Brighton. I love the trails here, and I feel right at home racing against Beck head-to-head. So I think it'll be a good battle today, and sort of a sign of things to come.
Has got an impressive CV. And she's
probably more nerves than ever. I think it's a little bit harder to defend a title than try and race for a title. Had a few setbacks this year, but keen to give it a go.
I'm pretty excited about the conditions. A little bit of mud makes it a bit more exciting, I think. So I'm pretty excited to get out there.
Holly Harris absolutely frothing to get into it, and we're excited too, Holly. It's a great course, the riders love it, and they are off.
The elite women, they do 4 laps of the course. The under-23s, they'll be starting a minute behind them, and they'll be doing 3 laps. And Beck Henderson, right from the gun, has got herself to the front as they do the prelim lap to sort themselves out and through the single track. It's critical for Peter Mullins to stick with Beck Henderson early, and then her road endurance might be able to come through to give her a chance to win that Australian mountain bike title for the second time in her career. Through in third position, it's Jenny King. She's got Karen Hill for company. As the elites are out on course, the under-23s have got their final nervous moments, and they're underway.
And straight away, we see the Torque Merida riders of M. Parks and Holly Harris leap to the front. Last year was one of the most exciting races of the champs. A sprint finish between these two. They won't be hoping for that again.
In the elite race, Beck Henderson is starting to open up her advantage. She just gently goes down the rock garden, no problems at all. Peter Mullins, you can say the same for her, but the gap is already at 17 seconds as we see Harris lead the charge the first time up the climb for the under-23s.
Yeah, she said she was excited to get out there, and she seems to be really chomping at the bit. Straight into the front, not having any worries in the slightly greasy conditions.
Through the feed zone, the completion lap 1 for Beck Henderson. She's got that all organised. She's got the water bottle with the carbo gel stuck to it. And this is the battle for second place. Peter Mullins, she's been joined by Jenny King, and they're already at 50 seconds. So Henderson has opened up a significant lead early.
You got to hand it to Bright. This is such a beautiful place to ride your bike, but geez, I don't think they'll be taking much time to look around today.
The tranquility, that is not the case for those that are racing. Perhaps if you come here for a leisurely ride, yes, but on race day, no. Holly Harris for the under-23s. She's at the front. She got off to a good start. She continues to control the race.
And here comes our chase group, headed up by Swiss rider Chantal Aheim, and right on her wheel is M. Parks. It's a 20-second gap, though, that Harris has already managed to extract from these two.
And the third rider from that group that you can see come through is Sarah Irons from the under-19 category, so she's riding brilliantly. Holly Harris, commanding lead at this point. M. Parks, she chooses the long way round. It's less technical, but she loses ground in the process.
Oh, M. Parks there, clashing handlebars with the under-19 rider Sarah Irons.
Rebecca Henderson, she doesn't choose the B line ever. She's gone for the A line, comfortably down across the rocks, and she's enjoying this like a young kid riding a BMX race. In second position, it's Jenny King. Peter Mullins, she was the one the question was asked before the race got underway. Will she have the bike handling skills to stick with Henderson? Well, now we ask the question, does she have the motor? Karen Hill is in fourth place, and she's within striking distance of a spot on the podium.
And here we see Jenny King really starting to open up that gap over Peter Mullins, which is a bit of a surprise. Peter Mullins did wonder whether or not she would have the mountain biking legs. She hasn't been on the mountain bike a lot, doing a lot of road riding. Could this be a telling sign?
Tori Thomas, the former Australian champion, she's all smiles, the mother of two. There's no pressure, and she's virtually a local. She comes from Mount Beauty, just the other side of the mountain. Holly Harris, she continues to build up her lead in the under-23s. And in second position, it's Emily Parks, as Sarah Irons is the under-19 rider that's stuck directly behind her.
That's an impressive ride from Sarah Irons. I'll tell you what, M. Parks will not be happy with the 20-second gap to Harris, though.
Here comes Holly, punching out of the creek up the climb. Oh, she's got a bit of dirt in her side there. Maybe she's had a bit of an altercation with the ground.
It doesn't appear to have slowed her down at all. As we see Beck Henderson, she's just gone through the finish line into the feed zone, and she's just having fun cruising through the switchbacks as Peter Mullins has made a move and worked her way back into second position. She just edges in front of Jenny King.
Exciting racing here in the Women's XCO. It's great to see this battle between Peter Mullins and Jenny King, two incredibly experienced riders.
A less technical part of the course, and for Henderson, it's a case of just open up the throttle. Mullins trying to challenge Jenny King, who is in second place in the National Series.
She just can't shake her, though. These two are just having an incredible battle. They are right on each other's wheel. You could throw a blanket across the two of them.
Bell lap for Beck Henderson, and that will be a joyous sound. It'll be even better, though, when she sees the finish line. She's got breathing space. Mullins has started to open up a gap to King in the race for the silver medal.
You can see her getting a little bit tired. They're getting whooped around a bit on some of that choppy ground. Maybe a bit of fatigue starting to kick in. Hopefully she can hold it.
Karen Hill in fourth spot. She's 1 minute behind that bronze medal position. Heading through Tomb Raider, and it's Holly Harris.
Holly Harris getting a little bit loose there at the bottom of that gully. Don't throw it away on your final lap when you're in the lead, Holly.
Last few corners for Holly Harris. She now has time to celebrate as she'll be crowned the Australian Under-23 champion, and the grimace turns to an enormous smile.
Yeah, she's one of the happiest riders out there. She's always got a smile on her face. It's great to see this well-deserved win.
And big congratulations from team manager Dean Clark. He's a great supporter of junior racing in Australia.
Here she is, the Australian champion, Holly Harris.
It's too much stress. I just don't like the sprint finish, so I was really happy to avoid that one, especially with them. I've trained hard for this one, so it just, feels awesome.
And it's good to see first and second Holly Harris and Emily Parks embrace, as it is time for Rebecca Henderson to celebrate. She started as the unbackable favourite and she delivers once again. This is the third time that she's been crowned the Australian Elite Mountain Bike Champion, the cross-country star of Australian cycling.
Look at the smile on her face. She was barely challenged from start to finish. She's done it too easily once again. She's the favourite to go to Rio for the Olympics for sure.
In second position, number 11 in the black colours. She's a former Australian champion on the dirt, the road, the track. This time, though, it's a reluctant way for the silver medal going to Peter Mullins. Rebecca Henderson, she was head and shoulders above the rest. Here she is. Beck, in Olympic year, to win your third in a row, does that add value to this Australian title?
Yeah, absolutely. Each one is becoming more and more special as they come. You know, you get pretty used to wearing the national champions jersey and then you really don't want to let it go.
World Cup to come in Cairns as well and a big season ahead.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the season with you know, the World Cup in Cairns, and obviously I didn't have a great second half to the season last year, so hoping to right some wrongs and you know, make it all happen for the Olympics.
Second place, is there reward in that second place finish or frustration at missing out on the win?
I think, you know, I've been second to Beck a lot of times, you know, bridesmaid all the time, and I certainly would have been disappointed if I came away with less than a silver medal. I think at the end I had a really rough patch at the start of the race, so I was pretty happy to finish strong, but I can never be happy with silver.
It's that lack of being content with second place that has made Peter Mullins so successful. But it's champagne time, and it's Rebecca Henderson who has the most jubilant celebration. Taking the win ahead of Mullins, it was Jenny King in third place. Karen Hill was fourth. Kelly Bartlett rounded out the top five. For the under-23s, Holly Harris taking the win ahead of her teammate, her close friend Emily Parks. Chantella Heim from Switzerland was in third position. Coming up next at the Subaru Australian Mountain Bike Championships, we turn our attention to the men, and it's the Olympic cross country.